okay, I have a meeting at 4 and it's 3:20, so I only have a few minutes. But I wanted to have a bit of a story time. And because, everyone's talking about Jennifer Lopez, I wanted to do a story time about the time where I met Jennifer Lopez. Now, I've seen some people talk about, and really, by this time, some of that, J-Lo stuff has kind of died down. And I've meant to do a video before. My opinion about Jennifer Lopez is, she's a performer. She's good at what she does. I think she's more of a dancer, businesswoman. And to me, I think that's where she really flourishes. But I'm a singer, so I'm different. So I don't know about the singing as much as the other stuff that she does, but she's a beautiful woman. And I want to talk about the time that I met her. Okay, so this was early 2000s, and my mother was casting a lot of the extras for a music video of hers called I'm Real. Not the remix, the original I'm Real. I knew she was going to do that, and so I asked her, I said, well, I'd like to go to the set, because she had dancers with her. One of the dancers, he had danced for me and my sisters a number of years earlier. So I wanted to see him. And also she had Eddie Garcia, who was just one of my favorite dancers. And he used to dance with Michael Jackson. And before that, he was in this TV show. I forgot the name of the TV show, but he was dancing in that as well. He was one of the main characters. So I always liked Eddie Garcia's dance style. I thought he was amazing. And in a whole, I wanted to see them all dance. I was, very young, I was in my early 20s, and I had been dancing for years. And so I just and I was a part of the dance community. So that was the whole reason I wanted to go. I did like Jennifer Lopez. I thought she was a phenomenal dancer. And so, yes, I did want to go. So my mom was like, oh, okay. So I went with a friend of mine who she was supposed to be one of the featured video girls. And she and I drove up there, and it was very early in the morning. I remember being very, very tired. I was wearing this little tube, kind of like this, but it was black, and it was a shirt. It was like a V cut in the front shirt, and some long baggy jeans. My hair was in 2 little boopy doops, and then I had some makeup on because I was in my early 20s, and that's what you did. So I wanted to look presentable. Just so you know, I'm a singer too. So, okay. So I remember being very tired. It had to be like 6 in the morning, something crazy. And I remember they had already put everybody in position. I was sitting in the back, and one of the chairs in the back, because I wasn't supposed to be in the video. So I'm sitting in the back, and we're out in the field, like this field, and they have this stage up. And there were lights, but there weren't the bright big lights on the stage, whereas they weren't up yet. So I do remember being in the back, because they were about to start shooting, and I was like, I just want to see them do their thing. I think it was just going to be the dancers at that time. So I remember sitting in this chair all the way in the back, and then all of the extra audience was right there in the front, and then the stage was right there. So it was the stage, the audience, and me. So I just kind of sat there, and there was other people sitting. I would say production. Someone comes up to me and says, hey, aren't you supposed to be in there? And I'm like, no, I just came to check it out. I'm here with so-and-so. She's one of the featured video girls. And they're like, oh, okay. And so they leave me alone. And so I'm just kind of like, and they start they start doing some shooting. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you know. And I know the song. I have the album. So I know the song. I like Jennifer Lopez. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'm like, oh, you know. And then they come back. The production, I don't know who it was, came back and said, hey, Jennifer Lopez and her manager, Benny Medina, want you in the video. And I'm like, me? I'm looking around. There's other people. There's other people. I'm like, me? Because I got these two little boopy doops on my head, and I am wearing baggy jeans and a little... I am not looking, in my opinion, like I should be in a video. Like, that's my thought. Like, normally it sparkles. And it's, you know, it's pizzazz. Hair be down, you know. It was like that. So I was like, I don't think they're like, well, they like your look and they want you in. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and stood. So here's the people. here's the audience extras. And I went up to the edge and just kind of stood there, like in the back. And I'm really short. They're like, no, we're going to put you where we want you. And I was like, okay. So they put me right on the side of the stage in this little, you know, there was like a little curve, and they put me right in the middle of the curve. And really, they only wanted me there. And so I'm like, okay, well, should I step back? They're like, don't step back into the people. You stay right there. And I'm like, okay. So that's where I'm at. And I'm watching the dancers at first, because she wasn't out yet. So I'm watching the dancers, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like, yeah. You know, I was so hyped to see them dancing. At the time, Jennifer Lopez was married to the dancer. I don't know why his name is slipping my mind. I'll put his name right here. I don't know why his name is slipping my mind. I know his name. She was married to him. Now, I will say, he was not very nice. He wasn't very nice to anyone but the dancers and Jennifer Lopez. That was it. Chris Judd. Chris Judd is his name. He was not very nice. And that surprised me. I don't know why I was surprised, but that surprised me. Because all of her dancers were cool. Eddie Garcia was just so sweet. He was so nice. And there was another one, I don't remember his name, but he was funny. But Chris Judd was not very nice. So eventually Jennifer Lopez came out. And everybody was like, oh, yay, Jennifer, J-Lo. This was that J-Lo era. And her hair was in boopy doops, but just ponytails. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, come on now. So Making the Band was there. So she would talk to Making the Band and the people on stage and like the director, her manager, whatever. And then she wouldn't talk to anybody. So there were, you know, there's lots of extras in the audience, and people were like, hey, how you doing? And she was like, she didn't really talk to anybody, and she didn't look at them. Like, she didn't look at anybody. I remember one time she wanted something had fallen off the stage, and she wouldn't say, oh, hey, can you grab that off the ground or whatever. She just pointed at it. Like, she didn't look at anybody. She was just like, and I was like, strange. I don't, she's not singing, she's lip syncing, so she doesn't have to save her voice. I don't know why she's not talking, but she was not talking, and to anybody. And then she walks over to me, and she says, because this is right before she filmed, and she said, I gotta do my close-ups before I start dancing. I gotta do my close-ups. You know, I can't mess up my makeup, so I gotta do my close-ups. I'm doing that first. I'm gonna shoot that first. And I was like, like, cause I'm like, are you talking to me? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, okay. So she's doing her close-ups, and they're dancing around her, and, you know, she's doing her whole thing. And then she comes back to me, and she goes, okay, so now I just did all that. Now I'm gonna dance now. Probably gonna dance the rest of the night. So, and I'm like, and I'm looking up at her and I'm like, are you talking to me? And she goes, yeah, I'm talking to you. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I had just saw that she wasn't talking to anybody but people that were on stage. Like, she was only talking to them. So I was like, oh, she's talking to me. And that was the only person. I was the only person she was talking to. So I'm like, okay. So some of the other extras, because to be honest, that's where they put me. I did not have no featured anything. So I was an extra. But some of the extras were like, do you know her? And I'm like, no, I've never met her. This is my first time meeting her. They're like, well, because she's only talking to you. And just don't, I mean, if you know her, you know, could you give her my demo? You know, I'm like, I don't know her. I don't know her. I don't know why she's talking to me. So then she comes back around and I don't know these people around. I don't know anybody but my friend, my one friend. And I don't know where she was. So she's like, she comes back over to me and this is after she was dancing and she's like, her hands are on her hips and she's like, and I'm like, good job. You know, and she's like, you got a boyfriend? And I'm like, yes. And she goes, where's your boyfriend? And I said, I'm sorry. She's like, what is he? What is your boyfriend? What is he? And her accent, like, she had an accent. It was not like now. Like, she had an accent. And I am, you know, from LA. So I'm from the Valley. I don't really have an accent, I guess. And I pointed at her and I said, he's Puerto Rican. And she goes, he's Puerto Rican. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, ooh, girl, you gonna have some problems. And I remember we just started laughing. And she goes, girl, you gonna have some problems. If he's Puerto Rican, you gonna have problems. And I was like, she was right. She was right. I did have problems. But he and I are friends now, been broken up for many years, but he and I are very good friends now. Just couldn't be together. And I don't think that's because he's Puerto Rican. I think it was just because of him, you know. But that's what Jennifer Lopez told me. And I was like, okay. And, you know, she would smile at me. She would wave. And she really, I don't know why she decided to talk to me. Maybe she knew my mom had, you know, casted the extras for the video. I don't know. All I know, and I don't know how she would know that. All I know was she was nice to me. That was the only time I met her. I hadn't met her before and I hadn't met her since. A lot of what people are saying, though, I do believe, because I did see her not talk to anybody, except for me. I did see her, you know, kind of how she treated people. And I guess I'm not going to make any excuses. Sometimes when you're in the public eye, because I do know about some of this stuff, when you're in the public eye, people always have an opinion of you. And some people can say amazing, beautiful, wonderful things about you. And then some people can drag you. And sometimes you have to have tunnel vision and you just can't listen to anything. You have to be very focused so that you can get your work done. And if you have goals, so that you can go and meet your goals. And she kind of struck me as the type of person who is goal oriented and she has tunnel vision. I think that, and this is just my little opinion, she still has that vibe of, I gotta make it, or I gotta be the best. Everybody has to revere me, as opposed to being like, you know what? I'm good. My family's good. I'm going to work because I love to work, but I'm not going to have this type of cutthroat ambition that I've had, you know, when I got started in this business. I think I try to find the positive in everything. And what I took away from Jennifer Lopez is she likes to outwork people. And she has made peace with work. She likes to work. Like, sometimes that can lead to arrogance. If you have a bunch of people that, you know, are making you bigger than life, that can lead to arrogance. And I think that arrogance because I saw it when she wasn't talking to people, when she was pointing at stuff that she wanted, as opposed to saying, hey, can you give me that? She was waiting for somebody to just figure it out, and was not looking at them and just pointing. And that, maybe that was a thing back in the day, but nowadays, you ain't gonna be pointing at people and think people just gonna figure it out. So that was my little story time about Jennifer Lopez. She's a Leo woman, and Leo women are a lot. My mother's a Leo, very hardworking women. But yeah, can sometimes be a little out of touch. Anyway, not all the time, but in my experience with some Leo women, they can be a little out of touch. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching my little video, and subscribe if you want to. And that's it. If you want to talk about anything, let me know in the comments. I like to talk, and I actually loved having an outlet that's these videos. All right. My sisters keep texting me. They are trying to ruin this video. Like, calm down. Goodness gracious. We are in a group chat, my sisters and and I don't know what are they talking about. Let's see. I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know. Somebody sent a video, and now Jamie's commented on the video. I think the parents said, I don't even know. I'm just like, could y'all stop? All right. Bye. See you next video.
I don't know what they told